All the stars are here. Beardy Chris, Beardy Kyle.
And you.
We're doing a great job muffling all the echoes from our giant warehouse.
Look at this
where
place.
we record from.
Yes, we're pulling back the veil. This is where all your money goes to. Today, for this live stream, I'm not in control. We are giving Kyle control.
Yeah.
Of what we're about to watch.
Yeah.
And you agreed to it. That's a verbal contract. Verbal contract.
It's a verbal contract. The thing about today was that I was combing the data through Back to Sofa, and I noticed that there wasn't a Corey video in a little while. And they make tons of money.
Number one, we have Corey stuff. There was one that we did like a week or two ago. Number two.
That's true.
Number two.
That's 3 sessions ago.
They don't make a lot of money for us.
Even better, they make some money, and I'd like some money. So here's what we're going to do. We watched The Tribe, which is Lost Boys 2. Okay? And it is the least amount of money you can throw at a Lost Boys sequel and still call it the sequel to Lost Boys.
Yeah.
He is the Batman voice.
Family member to the other side. If that happens.
There was a previous scene with him somewhere, and it was so short that we scrubbed past it, and I refused to go back, so it must not have been that good.
Got garlic and crosses everywhere.
This is not a good representation of his acting at all.
And then we watched The Thirst, which is Lost Boys 3, and that movie's so short. We watched it in Spanish, and we didn't lose any of the plot.
I was waiting to interject. Maybe that's his real hair.
Desalmado y malvado asesino de vampiros.
I wanted to go back and look at some of the interviews around that era, the old stuff where he's talking about it in the era. So
Yeah, we're Corey whores, don't forget.
So let's check. I haven't watched these. I don't know what they're, so we're going to check them out together because we're all friends, right?
Wait a minute, you haven't watched these?
I previewed a little bit, but I haven't watched them.
You don't know if there's anything good in here?
See, this is the difference between me and Chris. I'm here to fairly react what's on the screen with all my buddies. I don't like watch them and make sure it's going to be good. Let's find out.
For some reason, this is only on the left channel. Which I would have noticed if I watched it previously. They host it. Oh, they have like vignettes.
Describe it as, family moves to the country and little brother, big brother, Jason Patrick being the almost full vampire.
The creature of the night, Michael. Just like out of a comic book.
Lost Boys was never a scary movie. To me, Lost Boys is a funny movie.
We're fighters for truth.
What?
Justice.
They're so out. They don't even know what they're talking about. Like, they didn't prepare any comments.
Needed to be molded out of a piece of like Sylvester Stallone and a piece of Chuck Norris and a piece of all these action.
What?
All right, maybe this was a good idea.
I don't think they know what movie they're talking about.
He modeled this from a piece of Chuck Norris, all these action stars. You're not no.
It's not even his character. Somebody else wrote this character. Somebody else costuming.
All right.
And direct.
All right. Well, Kali Ollie is nuts in baking banana bread, so let's not think too hard.
That sounds pretty good.
So you'll notice in my character, you'll actually hear a tone of like Sylvester Stallone.
When a vampire bites it, it's never a pretty sight. No two bloodsuckers go out the same way.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to pretend that.
I got a little... Because he does the Batman voice a couple times.
He does a bunch of... Yeah,
Right.
Upset at the world.
Justice, the American way.
I mean, a lot of things that people didn't realize was like the little things, like...
This feels like Last Resort era.
Of what the Lost Boys meant. Now, a lot of people didn't get that. The Lost Boys were the same Lost Boys from, like, Peter Pan.
They are not the Lost Boys from Peter Pan.
No. There is a connection in that they are boys that never grow up. They're eternal.
That's the creative thing that whoever came up with the idea for the title came up with. Yes.
So you're saying the person that wrote it and titled it is actually more clever than Corey Feldman for figuring that out?
Yeah, this is not a movie about the Lost Boys and Peter Pan and Captain Hook and Never Never Land. It's a
Right. Him is Captain Hook, actually, if you think about it. Right?
Had black, thick velvet sheets put up on their windows so they would sleep all day and they would work all night. And they got really, really heavily into being vampires.
I'm convinced
What?
that these guys don't even know what they were a part of.
Weren't they in the movie? How do they not know that's a cave?
Shirtless Saxman Feldman. Explain that guy. Where was he in Never Never Land?
So it's my understanding that that guy still plays and still dresses like that.
Really?
Yeah. And that he's still ripped and still sings and plays.
Good for him.
Eerie at times, a lot of blood around.
There wasn't a lot of blood around. This was the only scene with it.
I stab him all this stuff, and they didn't want it to look like blood because it's not a horror movie. It's a comedy horror movie, and there's a difference.
Since when was this a comedy?
It's a family comedy.
This is not a comedy movie.
You know, when I've taken a bunch of pain pills and I do Back to the Sofa, I feel like this is a comedy, and it's not.
I can't get to this fast enough. It's not a comedy. It's not. Corey Feldman could say that. If the writer, director, producer, and studio head from that time say it was a comedy, I'll believe them, and then I'll say that they were completely misguided. This was not a comedy film.
So when those people were in the car and the top gets ripped off and they're screaming,
And you hear them getting crunched.
and they're terrified,
Yeah.
and they look as scareder than anyone's ever been. That's not a punchline to a joke.
It was pretty funny. You're
I feel
not
like
wearing,
those are that's the same jacket from Last Resort,
it's the set.
or is it from?
Slimy with some...
Wait, do you remember the silver?
They're clearly having fun with this. They're not.
Yeah. Call my 900 number and talk to my direct
But we're boys, too.
me.
Like goop.
That's fine.
Yeah, this is what happens when they have to be somewhere, but there's no one in control of them,
Right.
and other things are happening in their lives that they care more about. And it's
Their
team-
manager's like, "Do you want me to come with you?" And they're like, "No, I got it."
No. Do you come to this place with me because it's gross? And it's such a shame, man. Corey Haim looks good. He looks healthy-ish.
Yeah,
and-
Warner Home Video just threw away the opportunity. They had the rights to make Lost Boys 2.
yeah.
It would have cost a lot more money to get Kiefer Sutherland and either Bill or Ted from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Paul, who's not named in the movie at all, but I know his name.
God. So, all right.
God, you're a nerd.
Hi, how are you? Corey will go, hi, how are you? I know.
I want you to admit you clicked on this and then you just copied and pasted the link. No regret face. Okay, now we're getting into something that I'm actually a little bit more interested in. He's going to be talking about Lost Boys: The Tribe. Let's see if he still calls it a comedy.
For a comic book that's going to come out before Lost Boys 2 actually hits the store shelves. Is that correct?
Well, that's an interesting question you pose. I'm not sure of how to answer that one. Scott, have I commissioned my likeness for a Lost Boys comic book?
We would like to commission your likeness for it.
Okay.
Well, I was just...
What another fantastic clip.
Can you?
If you just look at Chris's face right now, you can tell that he's really impressed with the level of clips that I produced.
I'm not coming up with a good answer for my wife of like, is this really worth your time? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to go watch this.
Is that coming out? Or
Well,
you guys don't know too much about
there
it?
is a Lost Boys comic book that is out from DC Comics. I haven't really quite figured out if I'm getting a commission on it yet or not, but...
Did anyone ask you if you're making money off it, or are you just talking about money? You know who's the biggest star in the world? Keanu Reeves. Have you ever seen the videos of Keanu like giving up a subway seat for an old lady and like no one even recognized him? He has his hoodie on and then someone's just filming from the side and they're like, holy shit, that's Keanu. Wait, like Keanu like gives up his money to the VFX people.
Never, unheard of. Unheard of. It was like $30 million.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to take a $30 million pay cut so everyone else can get enough money to live on while they're making this movie with me. Like, why wouldn't I do that? And the producers were like, we don't know how those words go together.
No.
Paying people enough. We just want Keanu. And he's like, no. Let's spread it all out. That's different than this.
Yes. Let's keep.
Was it important for you guys to get the last like 20 minutes of this new one right, like up to the same standards as the original?
I think it was important for us to get the whole film right, you know, not just 20 minutes.
We watched the movie.
Oh, yeah, we did.
We watched it.
And that one's on YouTube. You can watch it all day.
And,
Clothes so bad.
oh my God. I was almost forgetting he was in this movie. Did they just flashed away?
They super speeded.
I said, are you cool? Show me your teeth. I am cool.
I don't know.
It's bad within 5 minutes.
I don't know where to go with this. Like, what do I fight first? Do I fight his attitude? Do I fight the facts? Do I fight the reality of the world that he's talking about?
I say, you know, people always want to focus on Hollywood because, well, we're famous. So, yeah, if you're famous, you're going to talk about it on the news. But what about the millions of kids across the world that still deal with drugs and alcohol problems? They still end up in rehab. They still end up losing everything or destroying their lives. It happens in all walks of life, in all races.
But they're not famous, so no one cares. That's what he's saying.
You know, Pierce, I think I tried to shrug it off for the last 20 years, but that didn't work. So instead, I've written a book. You know, if you can't kind of sidestep it or imagine that people will get past it, people want so much to put this branding on me. What is the purpose? What's the driving force? People are ashamed. People have their own secrets. People have their own things that they may have done to me through a course of action that they were hoping would kind of get covered up and go away.
And then you put them in a movie.
With all of this notion.
That Chris had to re-edit.
What happened with my dear...
I had to re-edit that piece of crap.
Busted.
Because the next day, people were like, oh, you didn't know that guy is the guy that's essayed Corey Haim multiple times?
And we're like, oh my God, get that out of there right away. Like, Corey Feldman casted Corey Haim's abuser in the movie that he directed that they had to shoot for maybe 2 weeks.
He sat him next to him.
I was trying to set up clips with the tribe, and I put this one in too, but this guy's so full of shit. Damn it.
I want you to clearly say to the audience, you did not check these clips out.
I have never done a video where I was just like, let's do this for money. I never have.
Until now.
Until this is today.
We are being asked to be erased from history. They're basically trying to erase our legacy.
Is that two Corys right there?
Yes.
Things happened to this kid that were straight masochistic, awful, terrible. I mean, torturous.
All right, we're moving on.
As a Lost Boys fan,
See, people are always like, hey, why can't you interview him if other people can interview him?
This is how bad it would look.
And I don't want to. I don't want to be on anyone's radar. I like to do this with you guys and him, and that's it. I don't need
anyone thinks that we're in the Coreyverse to where there's a bunch of YouTube channels and we're part of that?
No.
That's not what we're doing.
I want to watch Airborne next. I don't want to do this.
do you think we'll ever get another reboot or remake?
Well, first of all, I would hope that there's never a reboot or a remake because I can't stand those things. I am really not into them. I really
because they don't include you.
I think we should have all learned our lesson from the Ghostbusters with the female Ghostbusters, right? Like what happened with
wasn't that terrible?
And then
I'm telling you, he just reveals himself within moments.
Yeah,
just moments.
He's in his own dark home, and he has sunglasses on.
I think a tried and true test vehicle, if you will, for what happens when we do reboots and what happens when we go back to the...
I'm about to make a better movie than him right now.
Familia for life.
God, that would have been so good.
Oh my God, it's a Mexican vampire.
God, that would have been so good.
And instead we get this kind of rambling.
So I think that's what people...
Oh, look at her face.
You deserve this.
She wants views too. She wants Corey money.
Yeah,
too.
but she's doing it on one of those
it's been sitting on my shelf.
good creamy bops where you
That said, it's
pay them to talk to you.
We're way better than them.
for a lot of fun.
I'm not paying him to talk to me. I can just watch somebody else's.
All right, this has gone on. Wait, this is a 2-minute clip and it's been too long.
Again, from looking at the blog, I know that you announced recently Lost Boys 3. You're going to be doing some producing.
Look, Splatter in the background.
Oh yeah, hey, if you guys want to see something with Corey that he absolutely shines in, you should check out our video on Splatter, which was a Netflix original back when they still had money to just burn, and they gave Corey, or maybe they pitched it to him, but it's a choose your own adventure kind of thing where you would choose like who dies next, but now they just released it to where everyone gets killed, and he comes back as some kind of zombie.
Yeah,
and it's awful.
It's pretty terrible.
It's only 30 minutes.
I am executive producing. I will not be directing.
This is...
As I'm sure you are aware, I've directed in the past, but...
That guy's hands are huge.
At this point.
Look at that man's hands on the left.
That's all you could... He's talking about his directing.
Oh my God. What lens are they using? It's
but nothing that I'm certainly proud of at this point, given the right time.
I can direct, I just... nothing I'm proud of.
Okay, we got that part.
Chris's takeaway was, look at those hands!
Was created a new designer drug. The only problem is it's not a drug.
It's blood. We didn't even know that was the plot because we watched it in Spanish.
That's the first time I've heard that.
So now you know stuff about Lost Boys 2 to where you can connect them.
And,
this has made your life worse.
Another shot to do it right and give the fans what they really wanted to see, which we believe was the return of the Frog Brothers.
Yeah. The other vampire stuff that's out there on television really romanticizes the vampire.
Yeah.
And here we are, since Buffy, we haven't really seen a show where we could focus on the vampire hunters. Bad again.
The only thing that stands between him and the annihilation of the entire human race would be us. Factors that I know that the fan base really wants to see, and
when I look in the mirror, that's what I see.
That's what I see as well. It's a mesh between you and I, actually.
So this is called a press junket. So the two guys sit down for like 4 hours, and then the interviewers sign up to come in, and they each get 10 minutes to interview him. What you guys keep asking for is for Chris and I to leave the sofa and do a press junket with Corey, and that's not what we're doing. That's not why we're here.
We
Not
acknowledge we look like him, this guy, but I don't want to sit where he's at.
No. He can come sit with us. The three of us would fit on the sofa just fine.
A thirple. No.
Oh, they redid Cry Little Sister
Was
too.
that wasn't in the Spanish version, was it?
Yeah, it was.
And you're the badass vampire hunter.
Oh, the songs were different probably.
Yeah.
Right. The biggest thing is that there was so much hatred that my character had.
By the way, no one's really talked about this, and I don't need to address it, but while it's on the screen, what's wrong with him? What is wrong with this guy?
Jason Newstetter?
Jameson Newlander. Why is he...
Jamisaman? Newfoundland?
Jamarin. Why is he so plugged in with Corey? Why do they work so well together? What is happening in his brain?
Okay, so what I noticed in the two Corey's episode that has Jamisaman, Numanaban, or Jameric Twat, is that Jameson feeds Corey. Corey is elevated standing next to Jameson.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Okay.
So Corey is the star. Look at the Thirst poster. There's two hot girls.
No
There's
Jameson.
Corey. And Jameson is not even on the poster.
Yet he's in the finale of the film. And is a big part of it.
And has a huge part of the film.
Let's just say explosions happen.
Let's just say this blism.
So you're okay. He does feed him. He does elevate his stature.
It makes him look like a star in clothes, in posture.
Okay.
Better hair.
What is he getting from this, though? He's not getting money.
What is Jameson getting?
Yes.
Jameson was probably a actor, just like, he's just trying to get a little something going.
Jameson didn't plan to be like this. Jameson turned into this chasing Corey content. Chat, let's do an intervention right now. I don't want Kyle ending up like Jameson, although he does look pretty healthy.
I look more like Corey Feldman if I lost a few pounds.
A lot of weight. And then
the way he says it.
Me too. We don't want Kyle to end up like that. Or unless you do. One in the chat if you do.
Let's see. No, I got it.
One in the chat.
His shirt doesn't match his shoes.
I don't know what his you saw his shoes?
You know, it's some kind of leather, some generic crap that everyone wears.
That's what you're holding on to? That's your difference? This is what happens when you ride the wave of Corey too long.
I know.
It infects you. Someday you will have those shoes.
Chris is going to be editing this and thinking that he's really taught me a lesson.
I'm glad we had that chat. Kyle learned a lot.
I'm glad.
Corey, when we were working together, and Joel was just trying to seed that hatred, for vampires, and then now to come.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Do you agree now that you're turning into?
Let me see if I can do the hair.
Close enough.
Live Nation is teaming up with Warner Brothers, and we are creating a live Lost Boys experience. All the fans around the world can come together and watch the original Lost Boys film in a theatrical setting at the House of Blues, and then afterwards my band Truth Movement is going to perform a concert. We're going to have a costume contest.
Is this what they did in the two Corys? Or is that separate, you think?
Oh, I don't know.
They didn't put the Truth Movement in, so I think it was separate.
Oh.
I just don't feel like this interviewer is actively interviewing them. I feel like Corey is just spewing all over this interviewer like he wasn't really ready.
Let's rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll.
And now that we're getting such a positive response and tremendous reviews,
that was the clip they showed.
There is a very potential future.
Just try to relax. This will all be over soon.
It's so weird singing in English.
Yeah, I don't like it in English.
No. All right.
Go watch our version. It's in Spanish. It's way better.
Way funnier.
Hola, cariño. No me invitas a pasar.
No. They're doing weird Ted thing.
He just pulled her in.
You know.
He just pulled her in and killed her.
Because they can't do super speed?
Where are the Frog Brothers action figures? Because they have David, they have Michael, but I think it was you two guys that everybody would want. What's going on with that? I mean, you were making a crack about it.
Well, because we're the heroes, right? I mean, or kind of, I guess, but I mean, we're the ones that you'd want. We have all the equipment and everything like that. We scream action. Yeah, we
got all the
good
stuff. I mean,
that's the same shirt from the other interview.
The Michael action figure come with maybe sunglasses.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that the limits are endless with this. I mean, obviously you can do things like you could have, weapons that kids can actually buy. You could have like retractable stakes. You could have.
What are we talking? We're talking about how to monetize this even further with kids' toys.
Do you think anyone in charge of monetizing anything ever talked to Corey Feldman about anything ever?
There's video game. Hello. I mean, everybody needs that. That's right. So, but I think, we've had obviously a new rebirth in the Lost Boys franchise, and I think that's what this is all about. So with that rebirth and with, obviously the fact that fans are enjoying what we're doing, and they're not just enjoying what we're doing, but we're accumulating new fans.
Are you?
The overall consensus between everybody was that this film...
Hey, really cool.
Yay!
Stop giving us money,
News
please.
Donated $2. Monetization goal achieved for #Whores4Corey.
That's 100% true. Thank you, really cool news.
Lost Boys stuff in the future, so hopefully that will come with the mass marketing and branding as every other known entity.
If it was up to me, this would be the next Star Wars.
Hey, Angelique, I love when Chris does the deadpan bit.
It's not a bit. This is his real shit. Oh man, if you guys only knew.
And the beginning of the movie is so...
I want to choke the interviewer.
I want to choke everyone with that cable.
He's like, who the hell?
You kind of talk about that.
Ask about the dog from 18 years ago. It's dead.
It's been dead.
Well, first of all...
What can Jameson be getting out of this? He seems to not be vexed, or he doesn't flinch like we do. Like when we watch this stuff and it's in full screen, it's usually like this.
I'm making the mailbox face a lot.
He doesn't flinch. He's in it. He loves it, and that's disturbing to me.
what matters most to me is giving the fans exactly what they want.
If you ever commit like a major crime and the police are questioning you and Jameson is sitting next to you, you know everything's going to be okay because he's not going to give a tell. He's not going to say anything.
I'm not playing poker against Jameson Newfoundland.
No, he needs to go to Vegas and bet it all because he's doing this for decades and doing it well.
All in.
I can't do this. Like I'm done with this. I think
I've been done with this. Why are you still going? This is my idea. When you see Chris and look at me like he wants to kill me, think about the time where he's making that video where the guy puts the gun in the pants and blows the guy's dick off, and then all of a sudden it says Kyle there, and Chris is just editing. He's like,
that took me an hour to make.
Right. I'm getting thrown out the window, and he's just so glad. He had to look for 20 minutes to find those faces.
That makes me smile. Okay, is there anything else we can end on in this Corey Ganza?
You're tearing me apart, Kyle.
This is what happens when you give Kyle power.
This was just to remind Chris that he's doing a fine job steering the boat. And that whenever he's like, man, I'm getting tired steering the boat, maybe I should hand over the rudder for a little while. I will point it at the newest, shiniest thing with the least amount of effort put into it. And this really recharges your batteries.
Yeah,
for steering the boat, because now you're like, you know what? Let me just okay, I'm back to steering. I'm fine.
I'm going to take this opportunity.
Yeah.
to remind myself that a lot of you guys are really high right now.
They're so high.
And it's not really going to matter either way.
No.
So I'm going to pull that in and kind of absorb that, as opposed to like, I need to be a good storyteller. I gotta always respect the audience. I have to.
They like this side better.
Make good video. Yeah, I think you guys are all staring over there right now as I speak. So I can't fight that forever, and I want to enjoy myself. So if you had fun,
literally everyone's saying, "I have the right to be high." Hey man, I'm making banana bread. I don't have anywhere to be. And that's fine. We need you.
That's good.
You know what? Leave the TV on and fall asleep and let all the videos for Back to the Sofa play through on the playlist.
That's what we're getting at. And sometimes I overthink things.
It's great.
But I do have fun with Corey stuff.
So I am going to track the popularity of this video.
I wouldn't.
Just to see if there's any way to rub it in Chris's face at all.
Yeah.
That he has to edit and upload.
So I do want to do more Corey movies, though.
Oh, yeah. We should do more movies. And the one that they were talking about, that'll be great.
Hooking Up. That's what it is.
Look at all the Bibles behind them. You know, they're